I'm taking that as yes. So you all can actually keep this flooding. Okay. Yes. So definitely, hello. I'm Rajiv Surya. My introduction is I've done. I'm working as a lead UX designer in Mindtree, and Mindtree is a IT company industry which has recently, if you see in the news, it has been acquired by L&T Infotech. Previously, I used to work in Think Design, and I have a very good experience with Think Design Design Studio. A lot of things I learned there as being a startup culture and as a design studio. So I have a design studio experience. I have a IT company experience, and seeing this whole level of change from design sensitive areas to IT industry where there is less design sensitivity, it's a very drastic thing, and you need to actually have experience yourself in different spectrums. So this was one of the reasons which I took Mindtree, and I'm here from the past. I will complete in 2 months. I'll be completing 2 years. So my keen interest is mostly about. I like a lot of blogs, and I write. What do you mean by eye catchy? Is gonna take you throughout this whole presentation. I'll show you the timeline will be what is the content should come on your resume. First one. The second will be some uh, features or facts which you should know before going into designing your resume, because you might be knowing but consciously I want to imprint it inside your brain, because I have actually gone through a lot of analysis and research, and some designers from famous companies called Google, YouTube, etc., who actually documented all this stuff and shared their experiences in their podcasts. So all the sources will also be provided with this deck to you via mail from Nirman. So don't worry, all this documentation will be provided to you. Okay. Going ahead, eye catchy can be defining. So the structure is content of your resume first. Second is some facts. Third is what things you should keep in mind. Fourth is some examples I'm going to show, and I am going to show my resume, and we'll do a reverse engineering kind of thing. How my resume I have done it, and keeping all these in mind pointers which we are discussing in this whole presentation. Okay. And finally, there is an assignment, and that assignment is a fun one. You can do it, and it's not a there is no deadline for it. Okay. But there is something good for, news for you at the end of this presentation. Okay. Diving deep. So this is the brief. Diving deep in the presentation deck. So we'll go with what content to put on your presentation or your resumes. So I came up with this quirky. I wanted something you take back from this presentation, which I won't bore you with a lot of what content should come. You all know, and you can research, and in the resume, what all can come, you can see. But through 100 analysis of resumes from top designers, I understood that these 6 fields should be there in a resume in this order of sequence. Why, I'll tell you. So I named it all candidates as E's. Okay, so you all can remember in this way: ACEASE. So just because I just brainstormed on it, because before going to any interview, you kind of feel nervous, you kind of feel not relaxed. So this is one kind of a thing which can make you remember what content. So all these, if you see on the right side, that is the abbreviation. The full form of it is about me. C is for contact me. About and contact should be on the top priority of your resumes, because it should be easy for recruiters to open your resume and see the first glance that I should contact them. Then the next order comes about your experience, your work experience basically. Then achievements, because all recruiters are interested a little bit about your achievements as well as experiences, but more when it goes to second round of scrutiny, when it is sent to design heads, etc. After HR round is done, all the design heads or specific subject heads who you, if you're applying for a lead designer, if you're applying for a lead interaction designer, if you're applying for a lead architect also, so all these have specific stakeholders who actually sit and do the second round of interviewing. So they are more interested on these experience and achievements part. So that's why this is in this order. The next is coming. S is for skills. It can be software, it can be leadership skills, it can be soft skills. What you say, soft skills is nothing but other than your hardware skills or software skills, whatever you have. The soft skills are how you well you collaborate, etc. And last comes the education. So definitely, if any queries are there on the go, you all can actually chat here. I can get a update over here. So I'll quickly refer that and clarify it on the go. Okay. Cool. Moving ahead with this kind of a content sequence, let's see some facts about resumes. Why I'm telling you this sequence is important. Let's see some facts about resumes. So yeah, the average, this is a research done by a Business Insider. If you know, this is a very good analysis organization which does on, which has tie-ups with multiple Fortune 500 companies and as well as medium level companies. They get this analytics, and the statistics says that average time it takes to 5 to 7 seconds for every resume a recruiter which takes time to see. So you have, from this clue, we have just 6 seconds to actually nail down and have an eye-catchy resume before even if he's interested in your profile or not. So how can it be eye-catching? It can be content, it can be your narrative, it can be how way you are explaining, it can be the numbers which you are showing, how many numbers I have achieved. Like through this solution, I have designed a 4x efficiency solution for our vendors. So all these numbers in the course of time, I'll tell you what all eye-catchy factors are there to actually incorporate in your resume. So this is one, 5 to 7 seconds. Coming to another fact which I want to put is that there is a problem that everyone go on LinkedIn and see whenever they apply for any job or etc. On the job uh, requirements or job description page, there is an analytics which LinkedIn puts that you are on top 25 of the applied applicants. So if you see that data, that is actually a very good data which tells that how is your resume or profile good to and aligned to the job description or not. So the statistics says that only 35% mostly of the applicants are actually qualified for the jobs which they apply to, because other 65% of applicants don't design their profile according to that specific job description or the job profile which they are applying to. So they misjudge 65%. Yes. Coming to next, the third fact which I would say, this is very important. All creative people I know are really want their creative juices to come out on their resume. They want to create a very kick-ass resumes. Agreed. But if you want to create a creative resume is not the place to actually get creative with your formats or layouts. That you can do it in your portfolio, because that is why portfolio is there for you, because this software actually doesn't allow us to do all these creative uses, but definitely it has some catch. I'll share with you. So this applicant tracking software, definitely all people joining here, these 30 people you were in this webinar, are aiming for all Fortune 500 companies, right? No one will set their bar low. Definitely in the long run, you are aiming for the Fortune 500 companies or companies which add value to people at scale, like Google, like Microsoft, like YouTube, like all the digital platforms which are doing good right now at this lockdown phase. They are actually booming. So definitely ATS is some software which all these companies use because they get hundreds and thousands of resumes each day, and sometimes it's under lakhs per month also. So how to actually filter out from this? Just empathize. As a designer, you need to empathize who you are designing a resume for. So do you think HR recruiter will actually sit and see each of your resumes? Definitely not. If he has 1,000 resumes for today, he'll use this tool and do a keyword search of your job profile, of what their requirement is. If that keyword is there in your resume, it filters out and gives a search. It's just like a search engine which works in Google, right? So 98% of Fortune 500 companies actually use this ATS. So this definitely, if you design for this scenario, it can be also scaled to medium level or small level companies also who actually don't use this software. They are doing manual. They're doing manually filtering out stuff. Okay, going ahead. So I think so. There is no one. Okay, okay. I'll just move slowly, so no issues. If anyone has a problem with digesting, also no issues. You can tell any. You can separately message it to Nirman or separately also. It's fine, no issues. This is a forum to open discuss. Okay. Okay. So the fourth fact which I want to put is that everyone on this deck, which is part of the seminar, I think definitely are seeing are in the age group of 20 to 30, right? And everyone are coming out of college, and some are coming out of college, some are into industries, some are seeing for their growth, definitely. So LinkedIn is a correct platform to actually, if your profile is not updated on LinkedIn, a lot of companies actually outsource their recruiting to agencies. Agencies are on LinkedIn, finding you, finding your profile, filtering it through, and sending it to those companies for a place, for an interview, etc. So to gain an exposure, LinkedIn is one platform. And one more thing, LinkedIn is actually also becoming a content platform. So to make your social corporate professional circle, definitely you should be putting out content over there, getting some feedback, and again making your circle like that. How do you make your circle? You don't message on LinkedIn ki boss I need a job. Like that you won't get much reaction. The best reaction is putting out valuable content and asking designers or like-minded people for feedback, and then moving on. So this content which you put at least once a day or once a week will actually bring reaction, and people will see your content and they might be interested in your profile. So like that you can end up a job in your dream company, or maybe some company which you don't know at all. Okay. So yeah, 89% of recruiters are on LinkedIn. So if your profile is there in LinkedIn, one, good, update it and make it crisp and clear like a resume. If your profile is not there, then create it today. If your profile is there and you are actively putting content and engaging with people on LinkedIn professionally, well and good, you are at a good space right now. Okay. Final fact is that and this is true, most of the people who come out of college or who are into industries also, I'm not saying, because coming out of college, some people put some hobbies, interests, etc., something to just work their resumes a bit. So it everything which you put on your resume, people are asking for validations, for verifications. That's why after you have been selected for a profile in a company, they have a round of verification where they ask you, who can you name two people who can give a referral or give a verification for you. So this round of verification can be cut down. First of all, don't falsify information, anything on resume. And even if you put content on a resume, how to validate and verify there itself, rather than they calling you up and just asking you, can you give two other people reference? Okay. So in the course of time, I'll tell you how to link in your PDFs, how to link in your resumes, a document, and give validations and verifications for all the data which you put on a resume. Okay. So this is the fact base. Too much of facts. Let's come to some points which I would like to put here. Is before designing any resume, um, keep these 9 factors in mind when you are designing a resume. Keep it short. Whatever content is there, keep it short. Like using some, don't use I have designed a platform, or I have developed or coded, or I have designed a building, rather than remove the I, because they know that it's your resume. So use designed a solution for users which help them 4x times save their time. This is one way of writing your achievement or in your experience. So in this way, small things you can actually cut short and make this factor a key role, play a key role in your resume. That is what KISS rule is. It's in resumes also. It's on websites also. They follow this principle. It's on any digital experience which you see, Netflix, etc. It's all around you. You need to take clues from it. Okay. Yes, scale it. Scale it means consistency. Consistency, I'll tell you what is key to it. If you make one resume, scale that resume for all the platforms which you are there online. Like example, professional platform is LinkedIn. Put your resume which you have designed on your LinkedIn. If you have a website, put a link over there and link it to your resume. Don't have multiple formats of resumes designed for multiple industries or multiple companies, because Google, you might say multiple architect firm has asked me this kind of requirement, etc., etc. I would say keep one format, design it in a way that you can the keywords, retweak the content according to the job profile which you're sending to. Don't change that resume drastically, because I'll tell you what will happen if you change. Consistency plays a major role in building your personal brand. If your platform, your resumes are consistently unique and it is similar formats on multiple platforms like LinkedIn, your if you're sharing it via mail, okay. If you have your logo, you can build a personal branding accordingly, and this registers in a lot of people mind on LinkedIn when they are seeing your profile. Okay, make it a key USP factor that becomes eye catchy when you make it consistent by using one format. Okay, because multiple formats they will see, they might get confused and they might not remember you in the long run. That is one key. Yes, ATS, keep that in mind. ATS has some keywords which you should look after in a job profile. Example, if I want to give you a clue, go to LinkedIn. Any company which you are applying, if they are on LinkedIn, or even if they are not, or through websites, they have a job description portal, right? On that job description portal, you have a paragraphs of write-ups, right? What that responsibilities of your candidate should be doing. So go through that whenever you're applying for, like example, if I'm applying for Google, or if I'm applying for Facebook, or if I'm applying for a fees contractor, architect firm. Okay, see what is the job profile description, etc. Everything. See what are roles which you are very well done in your previous experience projects, or you're good at. Okay, retweak your experience section with those keywords which they are using. Okay, it is simple. Like example, they might be using responsibly designing, interface designer. He should be able to design wireframes for it. Okay, high level wireframes, they might be using a technical term. So everyone knows what a wireframe and high level wireframe or low level wireframe is. So use a high level wireframe in some of your projects which you have already done and you think it's added a great value in that project. Then go use that keyword which they are using. Okay, so every job profile, whichever you are sending, should have some kind of a customizing in the content, in the write-up, not in the format, not in the theme of the resume. Okay. Why? Okay, coming to the fourth point, two formats. Why I'm telling you two formats is that a lot of people out here want to create creative resumes. I'm not against that. Creative in the part I'm talking about, creative. See, creativity comes from differently. It comes from content, it comes from layout, it comes from what information you put, it comes from the imagery, it comes from different assets in your resumes. Maybe you have a script behind, you have a narrative, and you showed it in a timeline. That is also creativity. Okay, multiple ways. There are numerous ways. I'm not against those creative ways. I'm just saying that these creative ways should be majority incorporated in an A4 size sheet. How can you incorporate your creativity if you have like 10 to 20 creative ideas? How to the incorporate in one A4 size? It is very difficult. So definitely, um, for your online presence or websites, etc., if you want to explore, I would suggest you to actually explore that kind of a resume which you want to make it creative. Okay, and one, make it for an ATS kind of a thing. If I'm not suggesting to make two formats, it's totally upon your interest, but I would love if people find a balance between these two. Your resume is eye catchy and creative, superb. It's on 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, but it also follows all the guidelines of application tracking tool, applicant tracking tool, which is good. So you are in the very safe zone. Okay. So this is the key part of how you can make your eye catchy resumes, your USP. USP is nothing about what you are good at. Every person is a good at something. So there was conventional resumes I am seeing right now also. I've seen a lot of conventional resumes who put hobbies as icons. There is a section called hobbies. Good. People are interested. Recruiters are interested in your other than office life. But it takes a lot of space. Rather than if your hobby state that I'm good at writing, I'm good at blogging, I'm good at caricatures, I'm giving you examples. Okay, I'm good at maybe illustrations. I'm good at branding or logo design. So I'm giving you all these examples. Find which value or talent you are good at. That will make your resume unique. Like example, if I am good at, I really like, I like writing a lot. I like researching. I like writing blogs a lot. I like illustrations, line illustrations mostly. So I thought, why not add those elements which can make myself unique? Because whenever I put that quality in my skills, so there is a section in your resume called skills. In that skills, if you're good at writing or good at sketching, you put sketching, right? Can't you just take out that element, small element, and add something in your resume which, without reading, tells the person that yes, he's fine in this, he is making something, he's different. So I think so you'll need to figure out something, ask yourself about this. Definitely I'll show you what USP is there in some examples of resumes. Okay, quantify data. This is lovely. People love numbers. For a very attention span is very less in online portals. Okay, so through numbers you can actually entice or excite a user. So recruiters are more value it's added when you are working on a. For suppose you have worked on a design solution which saved 5 hours per day, which saved some 10 crores for the company. That is a lovely quantifiable data, but definitely that should be validated. Like example, it should not be necessarily this big. It can be, I have designed an interior, I have designed I would say a plan for a child, maybe a room for a child which reduces his stress by 1% or 2% or 3%, something. I'm just talking in the sense of interior designers. Okay, all architects over here or anyone who is into designing or creative fields, just think about what impact you created in your small projects also. Like if I designed a pencil box or a glass also, through this glass, what I have achieved in quantifiable data. Don't worry, don't get disheartened that if you have not done projects which don't have this quantifiable data. I am more also interested in quality data. If you say that it has increased efficiency, some generic term, it has increased efficiency by 2 or 3 terms, we are not going to ask you exact numbers, but you should definitely know these numbers are generic. If future you're putting some data on your resume, that means that the recruiter will be asking you some validations in the next round of interview. So keep the data true to itself, and also if possible try some numbers. Okay, quantify it, because quantifying numbers can actually, like example, if you go to the previous decks which I showed you the facts, do you remember I showed numbers? Now you can take back numbers. I can surely say that for a fact. But can I give a whole word of description like this and expect you to remember this whole line? No. So that works in that way, quantifying. Again, which I already discussed. This is the third last point. Avoid eyes. Don't use eyes. I designed I, because it also gives some kind of a feeling that um, kind of self-centered. If you see a lot of blogs written by people who don't use I at all, because they know you are in your resume. I just give bullet pointers like design this, which achieved this for our people, which people. So it should be like a crisp design brief. Okay, just one liners for any experience which you put. If you have worked with two companies or done internship in one firm, in that one firm, if you have done two projects, 2 lines. Okay, now 2 lines, keep it, use that principle of KISS rule. Okay, coming to the keyword section, which I spoke to you, the job description, you can go and check, see some keywords which they use in their responsibility section. Try to use the, if you have used it already, then well and good, your resume will be fetched out well in the ATS, uh, or you can work on this. And the final one, remember the sequence. Why there is a sequence, I'll tell you. I've done a research of 30 resumes of top Fortune 5 companies, of interns as well as professionals working over there, and I got to know that they too follow this kind of a sequence. So let's go into some examples. Okay, So no one has just posted any query. Okay, no issues. End of the session, we'll have a query session. No need to worry. So it will be a clutter at the end of the session because taking and hearing each one of you will be confuse a lot of people. So you can jot it down here. I would request anyone if you have. If not, okay, well and good. Okay, so let's see some examples here. I have jotted down some three examples from a lot of 30, which I thought. So this guy is she is from her name is Kejia Shah. She has worked in SAP as a UX design intern, and she has done all internships. So I deliberately chose. Okay, cool. Definitely, Shubham will be clarifying that. No issues. Okay, so I deliberately chose this kind of a because my audience is under the age of 20 to 30. So I've also chosen some industry resumes also, people who are working already. So it's a mix. Don't worry. Okay, so this is a student who's coming just out of college and want to get placed and has done a lot of internships. So if you see, things to note in her resume is that she has followed the KISS rule of keeping it short, like two liners for each, two liners for each, two liners for each. There is a average of what she has used it for everyone, like two liners. That's it. I I would most suggest to do it in one liner if you can, but people have content which they want to put. It's no hard and fast rule. You can use it, but still, it is pleasant to the eye. I'm not. There is no data noise in this resume. Okay. There is a sequence which she followed. If you see, work is there and contact is there on top, and then comes the skills, and then comes the education. So something she has done right. Somewhere she has the keyword also, but definitely in the long run, if you see, standing out or eye catchy, the term which I have used in my heading of this session. That's why uh, it does feel eye catchy from a recruiter's point of view, because seeing so many resumes loaded with content and seeing this can be a relief for the recruiter. Or eye catchy is subjective to everyone, but definitely you can add more eye catchy things, like something her skills doesn't she has just listed down. But let's see the good parts of it and move ahead. We'll see how to add it value. Okay, there's one more. Sure. Okay. The other things to note is hierarchy. She has followed a good hierarchy. Hierarchy means how easy in levels you consume a data. For that, you need to show a levels of consumption of data. Like, this is the first thing, focus. Then the color things are my focus. Then going into each section, the bold ones are the next focus. And then the profile is the focus, and then I read the content. If you see, there are 5 levels of hierarchy which she has used: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there is 6 also, which is under gray scale, gray tone uh, uh, color of it. Okay, so hierarchy is good. Use it for to make the recruiter's life easy. Okay, definitely. Okay, so going, I'll just see what else. Quantify data. Okay. Definitely. Okay, we'll clarify this all. No issues. Can keep it. Then coming to example two. See, here I have deliberately added some things which is good for personal branding, which is also good for eye catchiness. Like example, it's not conventional, but still it follows all the conventional rules. Okay. See, don't innovate in this headers. Okay. The content which I told all candidates at ease, ACEASE, don't innovate and use synonyms for these terms to make it more creative. Okay, because these terms have standardized will be used in ATS, applicant tracking softwares. They just put keywords like experience, hashtag experience, hashtag design intern, hashtag architect, hashtag 2 years experience. So if your profile has this kind of a data generic, it will fetch up in the top search list. So there is a strong point that all top designers, why didn't they innovate? because there is a reason they didn't innovate, because this is a very generic term. It's like our Google search. It should be as generic as simple. Where can we innovate? Definitely, there is a place of personal space. Definitely, people are changing and conventional resumes are adapting and evolving. It will go on. If you see, if you are a good logo designer, if you're a good graphic designer, if you're freelance, or your skills is sketching, or your skills is writing, then this is a good way of showing that you're good at UX, you're good at writing. So quoted, she has quoted one of her personal quote, maybe, but this is intriguing for me to see from the lot of resumes which look like this. Okay, you can just check it out. You can just take these two resumes, go show it to your anyone who feel you who you idealize and you look up in your professional career. Go and show them which one is better to consume and easily eye catching. You might get answers which are surprising. Okay, there is one more. Okay, I'll get back to you, Vinati. Okay, sure. Sure, definitely. Okay, experience. Okay, I have that also. Yeah, in mind. Okay, so having seen this, some kind of a things, I thought the best thing to show you all is not spoon feeding. Definitely, don't go through this. This is one way of showing. Don't just go with the examples. There are numerous ways. Your resume can become different by your skill, which you have something unique in you. Don't think that writing is not a unique skill. It is a unique skill. Everyone has different writing skills. You might be writing short notes. You are good at maybe short stories. Maybe you're good at some graphic design. Maybe you're good at logo design. Maybe you're good at caricatures. Maybe some kind of thing. You have to figure out. Okay, that is your total flexibility and freedom. Okay, definitely I wanted to show my resume because definitely this is not the perfect resume for anyone. It can be improved a lot. I agree to that fact, but it's a good start for me because this resume actually fetched me 4 to 5 different jobs, and there are calls which are coming just on my resumes. So I can sure shot say with some insurance it was not like this when I designed it first. It had a lot of issues. If you check my LinkedIn profile, you can check my previous version of this resume. So I reworked on it, made it more standardized, made it more less focus or some things. I really like sketching, digital sketching. This is one of the facts that I kept my caricature of my line art. I like line arts. I don't like fill arts. Fill arts take a lot of visual space on any platform. So that's why I've used it, so that it looks like a submissive thing, not a focusing thing. The other thing I like a lot about writing, so there is a quote which I strongly believe, which I've mentioned on top of it with the contact details on below. So the name and the contact details should be on this higher page. And definitely, if I go ahead with the content of it, if you see the experience, this is the title which I worked for. One second, there is some people out there. Some tips for portfolio. Definitely. Akshita will get back all of this with you. Definitely. Okay, so if you see here, like example, if I put the first experience of Mindtree, I just designed a product which had an efficiency of 4x times, and that massive impact on revenue growth is 2020. It's gonna happen. So we have done that testing, and that I have that value matrix also. A lot of people are asking in the comment section that what if we don't have that experience? What to show? Then definitely take out your pet projects, take out your academic projects. Your academic projects will be this section replacer. Like example, a lot of people put experience. They don't know what to put. Experience is also what projects you have worked on. Example, a lot of colleges do projects and with some collaboration with some companies. If you had that projects in your college, well and good, you are in a good way of starting point from there. If you have not, then take out your projects. If you have done 4 projects in your academic life, take out the best out of it, take out 3 best out of it, and think what I have added value, or what I've added in numbers, what I have done, etc. You know, the value which you can show is either by money, Money is value for people. If you save money, you are saving some value you're putting. Time is also money, but time, if you're saving, it adds a lot of efficiency. So through your solution, if you have added time, it's a good thing. The other thing is ratings. This is rating is a very quality thing. The first two, which I told, money and time, is quantitative. The third is actually qualitative. Take some ratings from users on your, like if you have designed a house, what does the client says, or what do the people living inside the house actually say about you? Testimonials. Taking 5 testimonials can give a quantity data that can say that you took a rating from 5 people staying in a coffee house which you have designed, asking them some questions that how did you feel, what do you feel separate, etc., etc. Take some ratings from these 5 people, and maybe this might be a good write up saying that I have designed an interiors for coffee house which got 7 out of 10 rating on experience from multiple users, from maybe which we took from interviewing 50 users or 10 users or 5 users. Numbers plays a lot of role, even if it is a small project, even if it is a big project. Okay. Kshitija, Pavan. Okay, I'll. Sure. No issues, no issues. See, agreed. So going ahead, I have written the same kind of a thing, and if you see, I have actually added links over here. That is called validation. So if you see, I have blogs on Medium, which has specifically research on topics like productivity, user experience, research, visual design, data analytics, etc. A lot of people might think this might be a false news. They don't know me personally. Agreed. So I gave a clickable link over here. On click of it, it takes you to the page. It takes you to, I have put a link over there. Sorry, one second. Oh, sorry. Okay. On click of it, it takes you to that link. So I have mentioned it on everywhere where I have put clickables. I have done it for my all experiences over here when I was a graphic design intern, etc. Achievements, if you have any kind of achievements which you are proud of, do put. It can be awards, it can be publications, it can be small achievements in projects, it can be numbers, etc., anything. Skills is your place of play, you can add around. It can be a software or a soft skill. Education, I have put it, and also have linked that education. If you, I would suggest everyone to be online present on multiple platforms. I didn't understand how to put this validation. So on Instagram, I posted long back when I got a degree, with that degree of photo, and at my convocations time. So I posted that on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn, I shared that link over here. So let's use all the multiple software platforms which are free and doing very good. Scale it for multiple, use it and link it in your resume. Let your resume be one stop shop for all the information of validations which you are providing. So I would suggest everyone to be more present on online. It would be a very helping thing for you, and also you'll get a lot of feedback. Okay. There is one more, I think so. No, no. Okay, Yashika Maitri will read it definitely. Okay. If I, okay, I'll read it once again. Okay, going ahead with, you can definitely check this out. I am on LinkedIn. You can check this resumes, etc. There is a hidden meaning inside the resume. If you can figure it out, do let me know. Um, okay, so here are some examples which I took it from top designers, which I found eye catchy in some features. Like example, some features. Don't take it total resume. I like some from each. Like example, if you see this, Tiffany Jane. This guy has just written some text on top which is actually eye-catching for that audience. Like example, a recruiter who is looking for a developer and a designer, this kind of a eye-catchy thing can help. Or who is looking at designer only. This I thought was eye-catchy because designers don't code most of the times. That is an added benefit. So he had used this to actually entice or excite or engage. eye catchier for the user. And rest, he has used the same sequence. If you see experience on top, etc., all these he has used extra. Remove that. The other resume, if you see, I really like the visual way. Don't use too much of graphic content, because what ATS does is that, the fact, some little fact I want to share. What ATS does is that if it has more graphic content, it will not read properly your resume. Okay, these small graphic content will actually make your resume more it just the timeline which I have, which he has given for each project. Like example, 6 months, 3 months, 3 months, more than 2 years, half year, more than 4 years. So I thought this one was a small, good information which a recruiter might not understand on the first. Maybe he'll just figure out what this is, but it is something you can explore differently rather than showing numbers. Because I asked multiple recruiters, do they see experience timelines? Definitely they see, because they want to see how fast this guy is leaving or this girl is leaving an organization, and how long is this girl or guy already in an organization and wanting to not switch early. So these kind of things can actually quickly, I can assume that okay, he has worked with two major companies most of the times. So I think so more projects and more value is added in these. I'll just take an information like that. Okay, this is one good thing. See, this resume, I'm not totally saying that it is very good, but he has used that kind of a hierarchy, and he is a visual designer. So what he his standpoint might be, or an art director might be thinking from his point, he had done some personal branding for himself, which takes a lot of space. I don't encourage people to take a lot of space, because if you want, and taking a lot of space has encouraged him to actually follow the KISS rule to the highest level. He can definitely, in employment, he can put all the jargon. Okay, I have done this, etc. Paragraphs. Due to this kind of thing, he has compromised on that. So now, as a recruiter, I wanted to show this resume because he did something good as a eye-catchy thing, but he compromised on content which should not be. Now, how should I know that as a senior director freelancing in Nestle, I am interested in Nestle. Now, how should I know in Nestle what he has done? So that is one of the things which I feel you should not compromise on making it eye-catchy deliberately. Okay. Okay, there are some other chats of Yashika. So what can be interesting under what has okay. I'll quickly refer all this stuff. I'm looking for a stone. Okay, take it. There are some chats which I would separately, I would encourage them to come. I would just let you know in the holistic thing. Okay, try not to try not. I'm not saying not. It's your freedom to do anything, but try to avoid these kind of formats. There are lovely formats if you go on Pinterest. I took these four examples from Pinterest. I am deeply uh, mm, I deeply empathize with creatives who actually go online and check inspirations or influences from platforms. Agree. But now you have to understand the relevance of that creativeness. Do we need this kind of creativeness right now in this resume? I would love for you all to explore in portfolios. Okay. See, all this content will actually quickly, ATS will reject it, because they might not fetch the font or the information from here. They might see, if you see the saddest part which I see on almost creative resumes is that they give rating for softwares. Why do you want to show which software you're not good at? Just every software software, it's a myth that you can know 100% of it. Every week you have updates for AutoCAD, every week you have updates for Adobe XD, Adobe Creative Suite. How can you say that 90% or 10% I'm good at it? So these rating systems, please don't unnecessarily clutter your whole resume, because I've seen those examples of years. See, she has used this kind of ratings. See, like web design, 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10, which I'm assuming. If you are, if why do you want to show you're not good at something? Okay, rather show skills which you are good at. Just list it down. What should be the ideal number of the pages? Okay, the ideal number of pages. This is a quick one. Show I Srivatsa, so I would love to conclude it. Um, the ideal size of, there is a difference between a resume and a curriculum vitae. Okay, CV, which you say. Small research which I have done, which both are the same. Okay, sorry. Okay, both are the same. It's just a synonym of each other. But curriculum vitae is more in detail. It can go more than 2 pages. If you see the correct fundamental definition of it. Okay, resumes are a summary. Resume is a summary of yourself. So summary can be given in 1 page, because attention span online, you empathize. Do you go on a website and read all the jargon or all the content, or you just see call to actions, or you just see information of numbers and just click and get inside? So think about it in that perspective. Recruiter, thousand, hundreds of profiles. Even if he has 10 profiles, also make his life easy. 1 page is an ideal way. A4 size portrait is good for any resumes. Portrait, why I'm saying is that recruit see multiple devices which the recruiter might use. Desktop, a portrait can look like this, which is okay. Desktop, it's like this. It's fine to scroll. Imagine he is viewing on a phone. Phone has a more portrait kind of a view. It views better on a phone, this layout. Again, iPads. Recruiters are mostly checking profiles on their way to office, or right now remotely they are working. So they are working from iPads and tablets or other portals or phones basically. So iPad friendly, it is very friendly because portrait it sets in the iPad viewpoint. The other thing, even if tomorrow the if you get selected and you need to take a print, recruiter, so A4 formats are very best formats to take prints, and also it is good for filing. So a recruiter, when it goes selects 10 people and takes the print and puts it in a file and shares it to multiple second level of interview people, those people actually refer these files. So A4 formats are standards one. So it is good for prints, good for documentation after printing also. Okay, I think so. That's so. So on a safer side, not for you all not to rework on multiple formats of landscape and portrait. So do it for portrait A4, because multiple successful people have done it, because there is a reason. Because all these which I've told you, all mediums it is consistent, which I'm interacting. It can be desktop, iPad, or phone. And next, after print, how that print is actually being circulated and used by multiple stakeholders. Okay, all this content, definitely try to avoid too much of stuff, too much of graphic content. Like example, these kind of shapes, if your resume has this kind, some kind of a repetitive too many of shapes, it doesn't read that ATS, it doesn't scan, it's unable to. So it's a too much of load for a ATS software to also read where the keywords are. So if you have so many elements, okay, try to keep it minimal. So summarizing, remember the sequence, all candidates at ease, and try to add a theme, what your USP is in that whole format. Keep in mind the 9 factors, agreed, and see what all you can design. Small assignment which I would like to share. Definitely design your resumes and share it on LinkedIn with this hashtag of resume design, and tag me. This is my name on profile, so that I can give you feedback, and you can tag vCareer, because there is some good news for you regarding this. Okay. So definitely, yes, we can go ahead with